What's up? I'm back. I know it's been a couple 2-3 months or more. I suck. Sorry. So I bought the toy. Finally got it. Bought a deposit on this in February, and it finally showed up in June, even though it was supposed to be here in March. And it's been fun. I've been playing with it. I've been beating on it. So now that I've played with it a little bit, I'll give you the rundown on what I think of it. So I bought the 2021 CanAm Outlander XT. Why? Because I was originally looking at a 570 and I realized I could get a little bit more power if I spent a little bit more money. Why did I settle at a 650 and not an 850? My pockets are only so deep. I'll come clean with you. I ain't rich. So we'll start with the bad. The stuff I really don't like. My number one dislike is this key. That's the key. It goes right there, snaps on that little ball, which is all fine and dandy. I mean, it works good for security because, well, she won't do nothing without it. Put it on, voila, pull it off, shuts off. You snap one of those tabs though, and you're pretty much out of business. And the thing I really didn't like about it is when I bought it, they only gave me one. I don't know if that's just the 650 and smaller. I know the 850 comes with a performance key and a slowed down key. But it was $50 and change for another one, which I did. Because you can't just order it and get it. Well, you can order it and get it, but then it won't start the quad. The quad has to be at the dealer so they can program it to the machine. Big downfall. That's number one. Number two dislike, the back storage area. I don't mind it. It's not in a shitty spot. Pardon my French. But I don't like this latch. It's plastic. It's got little tiny tabs that hold it on. I've already ripped this off once playing around. So be gentle with it. Just kind of push on it. But it's kind of flimsy, it's cheap. Not a huge fan of it. And that's the only storage you get. You don't get the front storage, you only get this back storage. And it's not waterproof. As you can see, there's a little bit of mud and residual from time I went and played. So keep that in mind. I mean, it's not the worst, it's not the end of the world, but it could be a lot stronger, it could be better. CanAm do better. My third dislike, it's probably the last of my horrible dislikes, is the front brake. It's combined with the rear brake. Granted, most of it's front and slightly rear. But I don't like that it's both sets. And I don't like that it's on the left. Usually it's on the right. It's confusing if you're, you know, a seasoned rider and you've played with bikes before. I don't know if this is just a new thing or it's just always been like that, but the Polaris is like this is, and the CanAm are like that. Not a huge fan of it, but you can still do a line locker if you wanted to. It'd still overpower the rear brakes, which also is another thing I've learned, that the factory brake pads on these don't last. It's the one thing I've been told over forums and everything else. Other than that, I haven't heard too many complaints about it. Now that we got the ugly stuff that I didn't really like out of the way, which isn't a very big list, let's go over the goodies. This is why I picked this one. The XT comes with front and rear bumper, the cool little handy guards, which you could put on aftermarket ones if you wanted to. The 3,500 pound winch. What else did it get? Different color plastics. It gets more of a, you can either get, well, in 2021 you can get the like a metallic green or this iron gray, as they call it, with the octane blue accent, which I went with that because it's what they had. So you get your 3,500 pound winch, says it right on it, comes with it already installed, switches up top in a nice spot. You get a front sway bar with sway bar links, adjustable shocks, Nothing special. They're not piggyback reservoir or anything. You have to step up to the 850 XTP to get the Fox shocks, which if you know anybody selling some, I'll take them. But anyway, it does have DPS, which is your power steering, and it's got little mud guards to protect your CV axles, just the boots. It's not, they're plastic. They're not anything fantastic, which the Polaris has as well, because I had to buy one for Patrick because we lost it, but it was $5. Don't worry. And the radiator's heading right here, but if you get the XMR version, they put that bad boy right up here with a fancy little snorkel kit, which I didn't opt for because, well, I don't plan on going too deep into mud. I might eventually. I have once, twice. So, the tires that come on it are actually pretty aggressive. They're not bad. They're not bad at all. I like them better than the ones that came on the Polaris. So they're ITPs. They are Terracross RTs. I believe they're a 26 inch. They are in metric, so you'd have to get the little calculator out, but I believe they're 26 inch. I did happen to get new tires already and some other goodies that we'll put on another video. But do I like the rims? All right. They scratch pretty easy because, well, the offset, they don't have the good negativeness. But they are a good tire. I haven't had any issues with them yet. Granted, they're still very new. So front bumper, I like it. It's angry. It's probably not the stoutest thing in the world, but they did upgrade them a little bit. If you have an older model, these are plastic. They break off. They now made them aluminum, just like the rest of it. I absolutely love these racks. I found out at a party with some cold snacks in the big box. If you put these on, if you put a cooler on a Polaris, get ready to strap it down. Even if you're crawling, you touch the brakes, it goes. Put it on here. This is actually rubber coated in these sections. It grips very nicely. You put a strap on it, you go a lot faster, and it's not such a big deal. But if you're just cruising around, crawling around, you can put a cooler on these, and it don't move too bad. So, we'll go over the controls. I don't know why I keep doing this in my hands. I don't know what to do. So, we have your start button, your kill switch, reverse override just like the Polaris, or when the key is on, if you just bump it, you can actually scan through your stuff. Actually, no, I apologize. It doesn't scan through the stuff. It's change your power steering modes. You have high, medium, and mid. So depending on your riding style, how you like it, I just leave it in high because it's nice. It's not as nice as the Polaris. Polaris is a little softer, but when you're getting up in the higher speeds, it's nice. You can switch it down to low so you get a little more stability, but she will go pretty quick, by the way. I've had her up to 72. I'm sure she has more than that now that she's a little broken in. Go back to the controls now that I got off track. Sorry. Got your winch controls here. You do have a parking brake, as I stare at my wife behind the camera because somebody left it on. Long story. I'll give you that story later. You got your high-low beams. And then this lovely little thing right here is for your four-wheel drive. It's kind of complicated in a way if you don't understand it. But when you have the display on, if you push down when all four circles here are dark, that's four-wheel drive, and it actually indicates here. If you hit it, give it a second. There you go, four-wheel drive. And that's two-wheel drive. When I first saw it, I figured, well, if they're lit up white, that means, oh, you're engaging four-wheel drive. No, it doesn't work that way. It's reverse. But when it's lit up on here, it's a little easier to understand. You have your buttons here for your display. You can go to your speed status. Oh, see, it went out on me. It's mad at me. And you have your little thumb throttle right here, and your shifter. I'm not a huge fan of the shifter right now because it tends to be a little, you got to give it a little rock to get her to go into park at times, but I did buy an aluminum billet brace that goes in there. I haven't put it in yet, so I'll let you know how that works out. Maybe I've been told it shifts a lot better. We'll find out, I guess. So, your displays, you can, oh, it timed out on me. That's one thing I don't like about this too. I forgot there's four things. I lied. You know how you usually have a key you can turn on and off. This one just times out. So if it's not running, it times out. So we'll try and speed through this. You got your park display, my tripometer, which that's the A trip, that's B trip. My hours are 21.9. I don't know if it has the odometer. There's the time. Okay, there's the odometer. So 143.7 I've gotten on this. This is your fuel gauge. Give me a minute. We'll bring it back. Bastard. So there's your fuel gauge. That's your four-wheel drive indicator like I was telling you. Ready? And we're in four-wheel drive. Four-wheel drive off. My average fuel economy is 7. I can totally do better. I mean worse. We'll work on that. Highest miles per hour, 72. We'll scan through that quick. Engine temp, 108. And there's also your temp gauges on the side here. Battery voltage, we're at 12.4. That's probably why it keeps timing out, because it's trying to save the battery. We don't care about that at this point in time. Performance key. Settings, yeah, we already know that. Okay, you can have your RPM display. That's usually what I have. Okay, we already know that one. So we'll go back up through here. Yeah, that's all the bells and whistles for the gauges. I mean, it's got quite a few cool things. I like the idea of being able to check your voltage, your engine temp, which you already have the gauge here, but it'll actually give you the number, legit number, and the RPM readout. Okay, so your belt drive right there. I like that a lot better than Polaris is hiding it in the back. Which brings me to my next point. It should be pretty easy to change. Story time. Remember the whole parking brake? Yeah. My friend loaded my quad up for me one day, my trailer, ratchet strapped it down, set the parking brake, as I do as well. Which brings me to my next point. Ladies, gentlemen, teach your significant other about the parking brake, because it has enough power where it doesn't care and it will continue to go with the parking brake on, which will wear out your brake pads, which when they get warm, it tended to work a little bit better after it got parked for a hot minute and taken off again in high, and the belt proceeds to, well, starts to smoke, which isn't a good thing. My wife's not happy about me telling you this, but I figured I'd share my lovely delight. But I got another one coming. It still works fine, but she's probably a little compromised now. We should go a little warm. It'll be alright for now. The truck goes by. And the truck went by, so we're good. You could have let it go. So let's take a tour under the seat and the airbox, all that jazz. Kind of like we did on the Polaris. But check this out. Oh, couldn't do that on the Polaris. Had to fight with it a bit. Not that I'm pointing fingers or anything. You got your battery. This does have a battery tender right here. I'm sure that's factory, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's not, but the dealer I got it from, Dalton Outer Motorsports in New Hampshire, it's on there. Your airbox is here. Give it a little yank. Set it off to the side, and here's your filter. You see how dirty it is. I did clean it not that long ago, but it might have some goo. She's a little dirty, but not bad. Not bad. No real complaints. This is your diagnostic plug, or where they hook the computer up anyway. That's what they did in front of me at the dealer when I had to buy another key. That clips on like that. They do make better gaskets for those boys that want to go drown this poor pig, which I don't plan on doing, but I might get that just to be extra precautious. Brake reservoir is here for your rear master, because your front master already has it right there. We'll go to the front here. This also pulls right off, like so. Oh shit, your screen fell out too. It's okay, it doesn't broke. But here's all your breathers. Pretty sure this is your belt intake here, your actual intakes here. So technically you got probably right about here is probably the safest. Maybe a little lower. You want to sink this thing in the water or mud, I would probably go lower. But your fuse panel's here, which mine still has masking tape on to keep it nice and pretty. We're gonna leave that, 'cause I don't need to go in there yet. But everything comes apart pretty simple. Maybe in the future there could be problems with these tabs and whatnot, because if you leave it outside, I have a feeling they'll get weak and brittle. So don't do that. Or do what you want. I can't tell you what to do. Right. Goes there. Push daddies. That goes there, right? No. There. 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 Everybody's back where it's supposed to be. I'm not falling out again. I'm gonna put it back together. I don't do this a lot, so bear with me. Oh, like a pro, like I knew what I was doing. Shh, don't tell anybody. And then the seat. Hoi, hoi. Oh, get on there. All right, nice. Welcome to back end. She's got a nice bum, right? She's pretty. Anyway, another more adjustable shocks. No reservoir. I know it's upsetting, but they're pretty good. You do have a sway bar links. I do like the 2-inch receiver. Polaris, take notes, because you kind of let everybody down on that one. Just a heads up. Am I a huge fan of the rear control arm setup? Yes and no. I mean, it looks fairly simple. Kind of leaves this a little exposed though, your boots and stuff. But, I mean, and it's a lot like a Polaris where it only has one rear disc brake. I'm not a huge fan of that. There is a spot though. Bolt holes are there, so I guess if you get too cattywampus on the old girl and you rip it apart, get a rock stuck in there and destroy a caliper, you can switch to the other side on the cheap. Just a heads up. Oh, still got clay in here from our little venture. We did go to Trucks Gone Wild up in the barnyard in Maine. If you ever feel like doing something fun, you should totally check that out. The exhaust, she's got a decent tone for factory. Rear bumper, just like the front. They upgraded this. No more plastic. All the same. This grab bar works very nicely when you're doing wheelies. You can hit it, but she does tend to go up and get a little loose. I need to tighten that. Storage area, it's not terrible. I got some goodies stashed in here. And when you want to pull your friends out, you can get one of these bad Larrys on the Amazons. Fairly cheap. I think it's under 40 bucks. You know, straps, the essentials. Ooh, the toolkit. We can go look at that. I don't think it's as pretty as Polaris's, but we'll do that right now. I don't even know if I really looked at this yet, but let's take a peek. Well, let's see. Oh, we do get a spanner for the suspension. I mean, I don't know how well that works. I haven't actually tried to adjust this at all. Screwdriver, very chintzy, but hey, if it gets you home, it gets you home. Some cheap, 10 millimeter, 13, 17, and 15. Okay. I'm sorry if I'm boring you with this, but I haven't really looked at it myself. Oh, look at the hobby. Look at that. Got a little tire pressure gauge. I imagine that works maybe once. And a spark plug boot. Or, sorry, spark plug socket. And some really cheap pliers. But you're not using this to work on your machine. This is to try and get you out of a hole if you break something. So, I mean, some of the essentials. I just got one little stickler. This is supposed to be Canadian. What's that? That's not Canadian. Anyway. Sorry, I just got really excited because I just found this, and hell, I've owned the quad for, I don't know, 3-4 months now, maybe? Maybe. Look at this, a little plate bracket. So you can make up a little license plate. Instead of putting your registration stickers on your plastics, you could totally run one right there. Oh, B. Just figured I'd share that with you because I just got excited for finding it. And we're on the other side now. This is where your gas cap is. It's in the back. Polaris is up front. I think on that side. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm talking about this one. It's in the back. I don't hate it. I kind of like it. It's low. It's easy to fill for the most part. I have seen on forums where guys will have it where it whines after they get hot, and I'm pretty sure from what I've seen is the vent gets clogged. I have yet to have that problem. But for future reference, if you end up having it where it whines after you're done riding and it makes this eerie squeal sound when the bike's off, it's probably because of the pressure built up in the tank. Just a heads up. Okay, so, oh, the cap came off, darn it. Anyway, am I happy with this machine? Very much so. It has 62 horsepower. The 850 has 78 horsepower, so does the Polaris 850. The 1000 has 92 horsepower? You gotta have good pockets for that one. Or, if you like payments, really swipe that card. I should have, might have, no, I'm not gonna. The 570 has 48 horsepower. So, I don't know what the 450 has. I didn't even really look into those because I was originally going for a 570, bumped up to the 650, and I'm glad I did. And I love the performance of this machine. It's not as quick as the Polaris 850. It does walk me, but I prefer the handling of this machine a lot more. It's, yeah, it's a little stiffer. The 850 Polaris tends to body roll. This feels a little more aggressive, sporty. So you won't be disappointed on either one of these machines. After playing with it in the mud a little bit, I can see why they do what they do with them. But I didn't buy the XMR, so I don't plan on going too deep with it. I do have to give a shout out to the boys of Let Dirt Fly, Seth and Marshall, because I watched a heck of a lot of their videos to kind of lead me towards this machine, along with a bunch of Asta Cruiser, all those guys with the big deep mud holes. My wife got really irritated with me for watching those because she wanted to know what I was doing, and literally it's just watching torture tests, and these things take pretty good licking. So let's go play with it for a little bit, and thanks for watching. So I forgot to mention a couple things. Engine braking. As I pull my beard hair out. Ow. Engine braking on this thing, also very nice. If you roll out of it, it slows down pretty good. Which makes it a little complicated on wheelies sometimes, but not so bad. And I ate a bug. It wasn't good.